The moment she asked, "Why don't you love me anymore?" I couldn't help but smile, not out of cruelty, but because I had finally accepted the truth. She gave away something that once made us whole, something that belonged only to us. And when I say gave away, I don't mean an object. I mean trust, loyalty, the soul of our marriage. That's when I knew. Love couldn't live where betrayal had already settled in. It all began a year ago when my wife, Emily, started acting different. At first, I thought it was stress. She'd been working long hours, coming home late, always saying she was just tired. But soon, the small things began to add up. She stopped looking me in the eye when she spoke. Her phone, once left carelessly on the table, was now glued to her hand, and every time I entered the room, she'd lock it or flip it upside down. One evening, as she got ready for another work dinner, I noticed she was wearing perfume I hadn't smelled in years. The same one she wore on our first anniversary. She caught me staring and laughed awkwardly. "Don't be jealous," she said, brushing past me. That night, she didn't come home until after midnight. I pretended to be asleep when I heard her tiptoe in. The sound of her quietly setting down her heels and sighing in relief told me everything. The next morning, I acted normal. I made her breakfast, asked about her dinner, and listened as she lied effortlessly about meeting with clients. My heart sank deeper with every word, but I stayed calm, because deep down I knew something she didn't. I had already started gathering the truth. A week earlier, I'd noticed her car's mileage didn't match the distance between her office and home. I installed a small GPS tracker beneath the bumper. That night, while she was supposedly at a team event, the tracker showed her parked outside a suburban neighborhood, not at a restaurant, not at work. I drove there, slowly, quietly. The house she parked in front of had its lights on, and through the living room window I saw her silhouette. She was laughing, a kind of laugh I hadn't heard from her in months. My chest tightened. I didn't stay to see more. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I waited. I wanted her to believe she was safe in her lies. For the next few weeks, I observed everything. Her excuses, her patterns, her growing distance. I even hired a private investigator, not because I didn't trust my instincts, but because I needed proof strong enough to end things once and for all. And when the truth came back, photos, messages, dates, I didn't explode. I simply started planning my exit. I withdrew half our savings into a separate account, moved important documents to my brother's house, and met with my lawyer. I made sure everything was in place before I let her know that the life she thought she was hiding from me was already over. It was on a Sunday morning when she finally noticed something was off. She walked into the kitchen, hair messy, still in her robe, and asked, "What's wrong with you lately? You barely talk to me." I looked up from my coffee and simply said, "Maybe because you already have someone else to talk to." She froze. Her lips parted, but no words came out. I pulled out the file the investigator had given me and placed it on the table. "You've been giving away something that was never yours to give," I said. "You gave away us." Tears welled in her eyes. "Please," she whispered, "I didn't mean." But I stood up, calm and firm. "You don't accidentally destroy a marriage. You choose to." That's when she asked it. That haunting question that would stay in my mind for months after. "Why don't you love me anymore?" And I smiled. Not out of spite, but because I'd finally found peace. "Because you gave away what belonged to me," I said. "My trust, my respect, my heart." I walked out that morning and never looked back. A month later, she tried reaching out, saying she was sorry, that it was just a moment of weakness. But forgiveness isn't something you beg for when the wound is self-inflicted. It's something you earn before it's too late. She ended up alone. Her so-called lover moved on. Her friends disappeared one by one. She even lost her job. But me? I rebuilt my life quietly, piece by piece, knowing I didn't owe her my pain anymore. Sometimes revenge doesn't need noise or anger. Sometimes the quiet act of walking away with your dignity still intact is the loudest revenge of all. And when people ask me if I ever loved her, I say I did, until she made sure I couldn't. If you liked the video, please subscribe and turn on notifications.